This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Everywhere you turn, it's the same old sports talk, the same headlines, the same news, and the same boring information. This podcast is here to change all of that. We bring you hot sports takes, winning sports betting strategy and picks, reliable gaming industry news, and breaking interviews with some of the biggest names in sports business. My name is Ryan Newpel, and welcome to the Noop Sports Show. What's up, everybody? This is Ryan with noopsports.com. That's KNUP sports.com, and this is your Lit Fire Sports podcast. I wanted to take a few minutes and talk a little bit about this Mayweather versus McGregor fight that's taking place on Saturday. Now, first, I need to preface all of this by saying I'm not a huge boxing fan. I'm not a big MMA fan. I really don't know much about either sport. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm just giving a quick opinion, and I'm going to bring that right here on Lit Fire Sports, so when it does happen, I said it here first. So, let's talk about this fight. One of the biggest hyped fights of all time. Everybody I'm talking to is asking me, hey, who are you picking? Who are you betting on? Who do you think's going to win? What do you think's going to happen? It's been talked about all over the place. Everywhere you go, every restaurant, every sports bar, every theater now is saying, hey, you can watch this on pay-per-view. Come pay me $25-$30 for your seat. They're all jumping on board. It's going to be a major moneymaker for many businesses in this pay-per-view space. How about the sports betting side of things? The MGM is saying it's going to be one of their biggest bet events of the year and maybe one of the biggest boxing bet events ever. It's battling the Super Bowl. It's battling March Madness for amount of wagers that are coming in. The MGM is saying they are getting massive action on Conor McGregor. I don't know if you realize it or not, but Mayweather, when these lines opened, Mayweather was minus 1,200 to win the fight, and McGregor was sitting at 10-1 odds to win the fight. So what MGM is saying is that they've taken 6,300 McGregor tickets and only 280 Mayweather tickets. So it's no wonder that the odds now sit at Mayweather minus 400 and McGregor plus 300. So now McGregor went from 10-1 all the way to 3-1. There is a ton of money coming in on Conor McGregor for this fight. MGM's also saying it could be one of the biggest losses ever for their sports book unless they get some major bets on Floyd Mayweather prior to this event. Now, that still could happen. There could be some major sharp money, and as these odds get down to minus 400 and minus 300, there's going to be a lot more money coming in on Mayweather. But as of now, if McGregor wins this fight, the sports books get crushed. They get crushed at this point because all the action's coming in on the underdog McGregor. And it kind of fits in with my thought process on this. It's really hard. It was really hard when these odds come out. Everybody's asking, who are you going to bet on? Well, I think Mayweather's going to win, but I'm not going to bet on Mayweather. Does that make any sense at all? I could not justify taking him at minus 1,200, minus 1,000, minus 800, minus 700. I mean, the odds just aren't there. And that's probably why we're seeing the majority of people bet on McGregor, because you're getting him at 10-1, 9-1, 8-1. Now he's at 3-1. But people are loving the underdog, and they're going to take that chance that McGregor could do, the one punch, knock him out, or can go the distance with him and win the fight. And so that's kind of been my thought process the whole time. While I think Mayweather's going to win, I cannot justify betting on him at those odds. Now, we get down to these three, minus 300 maybe, minus 250. I'm going to think about throwing some money on Mayweather before this fight starts. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm predicting one of two things happens in this fight. And so, first of all, will it live up to the hype? No, it is not going to live up to the hype. How could it live up to the hype? The hype's at an all-time high. Everybody's talking about this fight. Both of them, we know Mayweather's doing this for money. He needs money. I think everybody's doing this for money, and it's just a super hyped machine. And so, no, it's not going to live up to the hype. I think one of two things are going to happen. I think this, what could happen, number one, is the fight could only last like 1 or 2 rounds. Get in there, Mayweather throws a big one, knocks him out, fight over. Everybody's dissatisfied. All the pay-per-view's over. We've seen that before in MMA fights and things like that, where everybody's all hyped up for an event, and then next thing you know, bam, it's over, and you're like, oh, that sucked. And so I could see that happening with this fight. I could see it lasting hardly anything. People go home unsatisfied. The second thing I could see happening, and it's kind of polar opposite, but I could see it just being an absolute snooze fest. No major punches going on. And again, I can't even hardly talk the boxing lingo, so I could see it just being a slow-paced fight. The guys just kind of jabbing around and going around the ring, taunting, flaunting their stuff. I definitely could see it being a controversial ending. That's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be something controversial. It's hard to predict what, but guess what that's going to leave? Controversy is going to leave everybody wanting Mayweather versus McGregor 2. And I think at the end of this fight, I think no matter who wins, I think all you're going to hear is Mayweather versus McGregor 2, because guess what? Money talks, and these fights bring lots of money to everyone around. This is your Lit Fire Sports podcast, and thank you for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Noob Sports Show. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing to our iTunes channel today. Plus, visit us at noobsports.com for more picks, previews, strategy, and news. That's knupsports.com.